Lynn Phillips, in her study, she interviewed teenage girls as well as adult women who the women were also involved with older men as teens. And they all reported they were not exploited. They gained material assets. They was respected. They was treated like queens. It made them feel special, these older men. And in a national survey of family growth, the teenage girls reported feeling glamorous. They felt in control of the relationship. They felt protected. They felt guided. And these are the things that a man in his late adulthood are offering. This is what he's offering to a woman who is younger than he. Jenny DeJong Gavelle, she did a study on repartner in late adulthood. The participants of this study were all over the age of 55. The fear of being alone and repartner in late adulthood is something that alleviates this social isolation and feeling of loneliness. 500,000 people in the U.S. remarry after age 65 each year, and that's going to continue to increase because people are living longer. The life expectancy of women exceeds that of an older man. Therefore, older men will choose younger women to repartner with, and to also demonstrate this idea of de facto living, which is a flexible living arrangement, unmarried cohabitation, alternative relationships, which means older man, younger woman. And these are adults who are over the age of 55, 60, choosing to repartner, choosing to get into relationships at this age. And with Erickson, he would say that because the people are in this stage of life, then they should be already settled. They should not be choosing to have. They shouldn't have to be looking and seeking elsewhere, trying to be partner and trying to create these new ways of living as far as flexible living arrangement, de facto living. Erickson will say this person failed the stage previously because if he got through all the stages successfully, then he would be happy with his life. And choosing to live unmarried and cohabitate with this younger woman, that doesn't suit well with the integrity of a person at this age. So some of the myths regarding older men or just older adults period in regards to sexuality is that they lose it once they reach late adulthood. So, that's a myth, obviously. And as social workers, it's just up to us to stay ahead of those myths and those stereotypes and try to correct it, and also be mindful of it when working with adults in this stage of life. One of the facts is, though, that sexuality does decline with advancing years, and it's many causes to this. Medically, as a person gets older, you have more health issues and concerns. However, on the flip side, there are you know, drug enhancements, Viagra, that is allowing men of a certain age to be more vigorous and feel like, that they want to start a family now. So, although Erickson's saying at this age, a man is supposed to be settled down and supposed to be less productive, society is saying otherwise because they're coming up with performance enhancing drugs, and it's not used to satisfy an older woman because at her stage, late adulthood, she should be pretty much settled too. So, although Erickson is saying that you should be settled at this stage in life, society is saying otherwise. Moving on and getting into the bulk of the integrity versus despair, eighth stage of development. Erickson says so. At this age, you closer to death. This causes you to look at your life and question your own personal integrity. You do like a life review and a self assessment, knowing who you are, why you that way. And after analyzing that, you still able to love yourself. You ask yourself, what does my life mean? How do I feel about that? Do I accept that? And that comes along with integrity. So Erickson would say that this is how the integrated person would feel and look at life at this stage, as well as the despair. So opposite of integrity. You fail to accept and like and love who you are in the world around you. Despite all the shortcomings, it still leads to despair. The individual ego can meet or fail to meet age stage challenges. Your life has been disappointing, unrealized, and you unable to reconcile with one's life thus far. You try to go back, but it's too late. Erickson, the strongest virtue at this stage of life is the wisdom that you gain. Because of your old age, you've been around, you've seen things. When we looked at our study and our videos, this is the principle that a lot of younger women were seeking. They were seeking, in fact, to date or court an older man based on their wisdom that they can give. They seen this as a benefit to the relationship. However, as far as Erickson is concerned, your life is supposed to slow down at this age. And that mentality don't go along with an adult man trying to engage with a younger woman. So Erickson believed that in this stage, you should be really focused on trying to be a grandparent, retired, thinking about how to, thinking about like contemplating and reflecting on your life at this time. So if you're not doing that, then Erickson states that you have not successfully completed this stage, the previous stages of development. Because if you did, you will be content with your life and how it's supposed to play out. You will age gracefully. So in regards to sugar daddies, it can appear that they are chasing some type of fulfillment that they didn't get in the previous stage. This is Vivian Stefano and the Lakers owner. This relationship was put on display after he made some racist comments, but I just put this picture just to represent and just so you guys can see a visual of how it really looks. In a lot of her interviews, she stated that she didn't engage in any sexual activity with him and that he was just a friend and he provided companionship and friendship and financial gain, and in return they just wanted to be companions. So let's just take a look at this clip and see why some older men choose to embrace the role of the sugar daddy.
So, bud, the best gifts that you want, I hear from mom, dad, and your dear.
What about Baxter?
If that's your dog, then yes, him too. Hundreds of gifts, all from you.
He's my cat. I'm a cat person.
Black Friday starts 6 p.m. Thursday and all day online at Walmart.
You know, some birds woo their mates with fresh-caught fish. Chimps offer meat to objects of their affection. Humans opt for pretty rocks. Across the animal kingdom, gifts are an integral part of the mating ritual. And now one website is cutting straight to the give and take, connecting broke college girls with rich older men to trade their youth and beauty for cash and prizes. So, is it prostitution or a brutally honest search for happiness? Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
At a time when almost anything can be ordered online with one click and then delivered to your house, for the right price and legally, so too can a beautiful college student.
How are you today? Good to see you.
Meet 63-year-old Tommy and 21-year-old Monty. They've been together for 2 years.
Oh, I'm just not.
Oh! Hole in one!
I love them.
Well, yeah, they look great.
They're fun.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you for them.
You're welcome.
They refer to each other as Sugar Daddy and Sugar Baby.
Because, well, that's like high five, right?
Yeah.
Except it's a lot better.
It's powerful.
When she needs money, Tommy's her go-to guy. And for Monty, who asks we only shoot her in profile, it's a way to get the education she can't afford.
He's like, I can help you get through school easy. And you just travel with me, have fun, be around me, and just keep me company. And I said, sure, you're going to pay for my school?
We observed that being a sugar baby comes with other perks.
We're going to do a little shopping today.
Tommy told us he drops $5,000 a month on Monty.
Ooh,
Isn't that hot?
perfect.
Yeah?
Yes.
They're the tight-fitting
Ooh.
pants. These earrings with a pair of high-heel shoes. Great outfit.
Oh,
Goodness. Whoa. God. Did you say 387?
387.25.
Fine.
and it's not just Monty. He's got 6 other sugar babies.
Thank you so much.
This is what we call the lost and found drawer. This is what some of my lovely sugar babies have left behind.
Tommy was an IT executive who retired with enough to spend about $150,000 a year on the ladies combined. Cheaper than a marriage, he says, and a small price to pay for what he gets.
When you walk into a room and you have a beautiful woman with you, it's a compliment to you as a male. It's like pulling up in a really nice car or something. You know, I hate to compare it that way, but it is. It has a good feel to it.
So Monty's like a really nice car.
Yeah.
For Monty, the relationship is a stepping stone into the world.
He taught me how to golf, cook, be a classy woman. He's just transferred me fast into something that I've always wanted to become.
When was the last time you had a job?
Almost 2 years ago. I'm just having fun. I'm just living life and experiencing stuff that I feel like I would never experience without him.
If there were no sex involved with Monty or your other sugar babies, would you still bring them around for companionship and still give them money?
No. I mean, that's a big attraction, you know.
Sexually, how have things been different for you? I mean, he's much older than you.
It is what it is. We all mature, so I'm going to be old one day, and I hope I get loving too.
Are you paying for sex with a young girl?
Well, you know, you pay somehow, somewhere for sex, no matter what it is. You know, they say wives do it for refrigerators. You could look at, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody right now saying that's exactly what this is. And if they want to say that, they can say that.
Tommy is 3 times divorced and is the father of 2 young adults around Monty's age. He meets many of his sugar babies on seekingarrangement.com.
How is it different?
So what do we think? What would Erickson say about the older male in that video? What would he say about his life and his stage of development? Well, if he was an integrated person, he would be happy with his old age. He would be content with life and himself. He would enjoy his grandchildren, engage in retirement activities with someone his own age, according to Erickson. And this person is despondent. Somewhere down the line, his ego was bruised. So I wonder what Erickson would say in reference to the male in that video and his stage of life. Because according to Erickson, an integrated person would be happy with old age, content with their life, with their self, be at a stage where they're enjoying things like grandchildren, looking forward to retiring. And a despondent person is dissatisfied with his life at this point. It might be reflecting on just a host of missed opportunities that he failed to maintain intimate relationships, all these failures, and now he's trying to fix that and trying to make up for it in some type of way. Then the critiques of both stages in regards to a sugar daddy. I mean, on one hand, these people are at 2 different stages in their life. So their age difference and their life expectancy, that's one thing. On the other hand, you have the medical advancements like Viagra that is sort of acting like a merger of their generation and becoming more realistic for older men to be with younger women now, based on just that aspect. And the despair, if he accepted his life at this stage, then he would be married to someone his own age, and he would be engaging with someone his own age and not someone that's completely younger in a whole different stage of life and a whole different generation. So, I mean, it's definitely some argument there in regards to this. I just thought that it was an interesting topic when thinking of sugar daddies, because most people just focus on the woman and what she is looking for, she's looked at in such a negative light. But also, you know, the man that's seeking out this type of relationship has some, you know, things or some biopsychosocial factors engaged too. So that's the end. Thank you. Look forward to discussing this topic in class.